Question 52 says that Tammy downloaded some songs from a music website, and each song costs the same amount. The website does charge a one-time service fee, and then in this table they showed us the different costs for a number of songs that she downloaded. Which linear equation could we use to determine the total cost of downloading songs from the website? So say she wanted to know, so I need, to go on this run, I need probably about 20 minutes of music, and that would be about 10 songs. Well, we could use this formula to determine how many songs she would need to be long enough for her run. And that's just an example situation for why a formula like this could come in handy for figuring out just a random occurrence of something that should happen as a pattern. So, back to the question, they want us to use this table to figure out a linear equation. Now, all linear equations are either y equals kx or y equals mx plus b. Well, we know since there was this one-time service fee, it's going to be the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. We're going to have a magic b added. So, y equals mx plus b. Now, we need to find the m and the b. M is our slope. B will be our y-intercept. Well, we could either use the slope of a line formula given on our reference materials, but hopefully, if you did your brain dump at the very beginning of your test, you could have written down some different ways to find slope. For example, you could have written down rise over run, and that's really great to use on graphs. Y over x, which is great for proportional relationships. Change in y divided by change in x. Or I guess if you just really want to do what this paper says, you could use y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And that's technically what we're going to do here by using this change in y divided by change in x formula by looking at how our table is changing from one number of songs to another. So we'll start from the top. From 5 to 8.75, how does the cost change? Well, using your calculator, you can type it in, do the subtraction, and you would see that it increases by $3.75. And this is our change in y, because I found how from one number of songs to another, it increased by $3.75. I can put that in the top. We'll divide that by our change in x, which is how it changed going from 2 to 5. Well, it increased by 3 additional songs. Thankfully, we have this calculator that would reduce this for us and give us a nice decimal. 3.75 divided by 3 is 1.25, which is our slope. Now, all that's left to do is to solve for our magic b, which we can do by plugging in an x and a y value and seeing what we would need to add to make the equation true. I'm going to work with this 2 and this 5. I really like those numbers. They're super simple. You could have chosen whichever numbers you want to work with as long as you made sure that they were corresponding to each other. If you wanted to work with 20 as your y value, just make sure you use 14 as your x. You can't mix and match. So, like I said, I'm going to use 2 and 5. So for my y value, I need to plug in 5, set it equal to 1.25 times x, which was 2. And I'm going to need to see what has to happen here to make it equal 5. Okay, 1.25 times 2 in my calculator is going to be 2.5. So what would I need to add or subtract to 2.5 to get to 5? I'm going to subtract 2.5 from 5 to see the difference, which is, what do you know, 2.5. Now, just to be sure, I'm going to add the 2 together, and aha! It gives me 5 as my y value when I add these two together. So our magic b is indeed 2.5. Rewriting our equation, this should look like y equals our m, which we found to be 1.25, x plus the b, which we found to be 2.5. Okay, so let's look at our answer options now. At this point, you could have just stopped at slope because it looks like all of the slopes for the answer options are different, but let's verify our magic b as well. Well, that matches up. However, let's take a look at the different answer choices and how you could have answered one of those instead of the correct one. Now, this order is important here. Taking y and dividing it by x gave us the slope of 1.25. Well, Mrs. Kirk, what if we would have done our x divided by y, which was 3.
I think your mom is waiting outside.
Divided by 3.75. Oh, and look at that. We would have gotten a slope of 0.8. And I wonder, that looks like answer option C. I wonder if that would have also given us the magic b of 3.4 if we would have used that slope to solve for the magic b. Okay, what if you would have just taken y and divided by x? If this was a proportional relationship, or if you would have just assumed that you could have taken y and divided by x, 5 divided by 2, that gives us a fraction. Let's convert it to a decimal, because our slopes given are in decimals. Look at that, 2.5, and that looks a whole lot like answer option B. So guys, just be really careful in making sure you're plugging in the correct numbers and just double checking yourself, because it's so very easy to mix things up and make an easy mistake.